Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. For today's video in this series, we are doing the Ram 1500 TRX. If you're new to the channel, for these types of videos I look at the history of the car, major flaws, and why they got cancelled. It's meant to be a tribute video for the vehicle rather than a negative one. The first part focuses on looking back at the history of the car and all the details and specs, and then we jump to talking about the events that led to the car being cancelled and any flaws they had. The TRX ended up being short-lived as it had just 4 model years before being cancelled. So we begin the TRX story back in 2016. Ram announced the Rebel TRX concept on September 29, 2016 at the Texas State Fair. Technically, the TRX name is short form for Tyrannosaurus Rex, or T-Rex, and that was pretty much a shot at the Ford Raptor, with Ram creating a beastly, dino-themed truck of their own. Ram told everyone the truck was built for off-road use and that it could hit a top speed of over 100 miles an hour in an off-road environment. But what got everyone real excited was the fact that FCA stuck the 6.2-liter supercharged V8 under the hood, the same one found in the Charger and Challenger Hellcats. Originally there were rumors about both a TR and a TRX model, with the TR getting a naturally aspirated 426 Hemi with 520 horsepower and 525 pound-feet of torque, but obviously that never happened. The concept's version of the Hellcat engine was also detuned down to 575 horsepower. The transmission they used would be an 8 HP70 8-speed automatic. The concept looked fantastic and had lots of accessories as you'd expect. First there was the header red paint, which was said to have 30 coats applied. There were 37-inch tires on Mopar 18-inch beadlock wheels, with body-colored matched rings, 2 full-size spare wheels and tires in a bed mount configuration, and there were 6 piston calipers with 15-inch front rotors and 14 inches in the rear. The track was 6 inches wider than a normal 1500 with extended fenders, and there were some add-ons like LED clearance lights, a mounted LED light bar, rock rails, skid plates, and a 5-inch side exhaust. Moving to the inside, the seats feature suede inserts and upper bolsters, 6-point harnesses, cloth door pulls, an anodized steering wheel, paddle shifters, and the 8.4-inch Uconnect system. They thought deep into the off-road concept, including things like the seats where suede will better grip clothing, a TRX tool bag in the glove box, and a custom camera mount on the rearview mirror in case you want to film your off-road sessions. Most concept cars just stay a concept, but for the TRX there was a ton of positive reactions and considerable push from the public to get this thing to production. Here are some quotes on screen, with the media and public saying things like, quote, "For now all we can do is dream about owning one of these beasts, as it is still just a concept vehicle," end quote. And also, quote, "Back in the day, Dodge put a Viper engine in a Ram pickup truck. Since those glory days, there hasn't been a true high-performance truck from the car company with horns. That needs to change, and now is the time," end quote. And for the TRX, it wasn't too much of a guessing game, because it was announced on June 1st, 2018 in Fiat Chrysler's 5-year upcoming plan that the TRX would go into production in 2021, and on August 17th, 2020, the TRX Launch Edition was released. Launch Edition models were limited to 702 units and were available in an exclusive anvil gray color. So starting in 2021, the MSRP was $72,120, or a whopping $90,265 for the Launch Edition. The various special editions would add to the price tag as you can see, and the regular price would steadily climb up to $98,335 by 2024 for a regular TRX, or close to $120,000 for a final edition. Moving on to the visuals, the aesthetic of the production TRX was not quite as bulky or beefy as the concept, but it was still a very muscular body with an aggressive stance. The TRX would end up being 8 inches wider than the rest of the Ram 1500 lineup, with a 6-inch increase in track width, so the fender flares are wider with wider 18 by 9-inch beadlock-ready wheels, and 35-inch 325/65 R18 Goodyear Territory all-terrain tires that were designed exclusively for this truck. The front axle had to be moved 20 millimeters forward to accommodate for those tires. Beneath the wheels are 2-piston monoblock front calipers with 15-inch rotors, and single-piston calipers with 15-inch rotors in the rear. The front of the truck features a big Ram badge with a flow-through design that assists with airflow. Flanking the grille are black LED headlights, and below are skid plates, a steel bumper, tow hooks, and LED clearance markers. The new hood features more LEDs, and 50% of the air entering the engine comes from that scoop, while the other half enters through the grille. The body side and hood graphics were optional, but most of the trucks I've seen did have them. The back of the truck gets another Ram badge with LED taillights and dual 5-inch exhaust tips. The steel bed is wider than a regular 1500, and somewhat like the concept, there is a bed-mounted spare tire carrier that's available from Mopar. TRX buyers can also choose an optional full-length rock rail for added body and sill protection, or traditional off-road powder-coated aluminum running boards. The interior features three main options. The base layout, or the TR equipment group, is based on the Rebel trim and comes with cloth and vinyl with black and dark ruby red surfaces. The TR1 and TR2 equipment groups will step up to all black with leather and suede, heated and ventilated front bucket seats, with rear bench seats and medium gray stone stitching and graphite metallic accents. The TR2 specifically offers red stitching and carbon fiber accents. A new SRT flat-bottom steering wheel was used, wrapped in leather with paddle shifters. The shifter is console mounted, marking the first time for both console and paddle shifters in a Ram truck. An all-new heads-up display shows up to 5 different content areas at once, like lane departure, lane keep assist, adaptive cruise control, turn-by-turn navigation, current speed, current gear, and the speed limit. The heads-up display is available on the TR2 equipment group and is a full-color unit accessible through the 12-inch Uconnect 4C touchscreen. The TRX was designed to be the most technologically advanced pickup ever, so that includes the big touchscreen, class-exclusive 900-watt premium Harman Kardon audio system with 19 speakers and 10-inch subwoofer, and a 7-inch thin-film transistor cluster. There's also the available 360-degree surround view camera system, which is a forward-facing off-road camera that allows obstructions ahead on the trail to be seen. An available digital rearview mirror option will replace the traditional mirror with a 9.2-inch wide LCD monitor. The TRX also offers more than 100 available active and passive safety and security features. Each TRX also gets a custom specifications plate on the console lid that lists the engine under the hood, the type of supercharger they use, boost output, horsepower, and the VIN number. These are also color-coded to match the exterior on the limited edition TRX versions. Thankfully, the TRX ended up using the 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 engine as promised, making it the apex predator of the truck world. It wasn't detuned like the concept was, making full use of 702 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, paired with an 8 HP 95 TorqueFlite 8-speed automatic transmission. The top speed was only rated for 118 miles an hour from the factory, but that was due to the T-rated off-road tires. Ram claimed very conservative performance times of 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds and the quarter mile in 12.9 seconds at 108 miles an hour, but Car and Driver blew past these times with their tester, doing 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds and the quarter mile in 12.3 seconds at 110 miles an hour. To help achieve those times, a launch control feature is standard. I'll talk more about the performance because that's what the truck is meant for, and it's obviously going to be a big part of its legacy in the future. It's got a dual-path air system with a large 29-liter airbox that pulls in air from the functional hood scoop and the upper edge of the grille, including that flow-through Ram logo. It's also engineered for off-road use, as the incoming air is directed to the bottom of the airbox to help dirt and water settle out before the air reaches the filter, and there is a one-way drain at the bottom of the airbox to evacuate water, even when the truck is moving. It uses twin heavy-duty air filters which have 4 times the dust trapping capacity when compared to the closest competitor, and industry standard testing shows the TRX easily surpasses all the competitors in the amount of time that it can ingest dirty air and debris before the performance is diminished. The TRX has many drive modes like Auto, Sport, Tow, Snow, and Custom, where you can choose from different parameters that control things like the 4-wheel drive system, throttle response, transmission, paddle shifters, suspension, and steering. For off-roading, there are 3 dynamic modes: Mud/Sand, Rock, and Baja. Of course, the main focus is on performance, but the truck is truly designed with off-roading in mind, as evidenced by the capability of the truck. Parts of the frame are hydroformed for dimensional accuracy, with fully boxed side rails and galvanized components. There are 5 skid plates used, with an additional one at the front to protect the bumper and doubles as a belly pan. The front suspension includes forged aluminum upper and lower control arms. The rear has active damping with an exclusive 5-link coil system rather than the old leaf spring systems. Rear wheel travel increases to 13 inches from 9 inches on a standard Ram 1500, which is 40% more. The rear springs are 600 millimeters long, which are the largest ever on a non-commercial production vehicle. Ram chose to use 2.6-inch Bilstein Black Hawk E2 adaptive performance shocks that are tuned to have a balance between on-road handling and off-road capability. The internals of the shocks have a jounce cutoff to create 3 zones for bottom-out control during extreme compression, and a urethane jounce bumper is used as well. Dual electronic proportional valves continuously adjust the damping forces for compression and rebound damping, and a nitrogen-charged remote reservoir uses a hot-formed zero-leak tube closure to ensure maximum durability during extreme on- and off-road events. All these features work together with the active terrain dynamic suspension management system. As for axles, a Dana 60 rear end is used with full floating axle shafts with a rear electronic locking differential. The transfer case used is a new BorgWarner 4813 full-time active version that has upgraded internals for better strength and durability, with a low range of 2.6 to 1 for rock crawling, and the truck can be flat-towed while in neutral, as they probably anticipate people might be getting stuck. Another great feature is jump detection, which uses wheel speed and ride height sensors at each corner to identify when the vehicle is airborne, and acts to prevent driveline damaging power spikes. Acting in milliseconds, the jump detection will modify the engine speed and torque, gear selection, transfer case torque split, damping rates, and other components through the landing to deliver the best performance. Each TRX also gets performance pages and off-road pages, which can be found on the 12-inch screen. Performance pages includes real-time vehicle performance data, which can be downloaded to a USB and shared if needed. Off-road pages show ride height, the transfer case's position, the pitch and roll of the vehicle, and accessory gauges. As for some other capability numbers, the TRX has a ground clearance of 11.8 inches, approach angle of 30.2 degrees, breakover angle of 21.9 degrees, and a departure angle of 23.5 degrees. Fully stocked, this truck is capable of 8,100 pounds of towing and a maximum payload capacity of 1,310 pounds. There were a couple of limited edition TRXs over the years, like the 2021 Launch Edition in Anvil Grey, limited to 702 units, the 2022 Ignition Edition, limited to 875, the 2022 Sandblast Edition, supposedly with around 1,000 units made, the 2023 Havoc Edition and Lunar Edition, not sure how many of those were produced, and the 2024 Final Edition with a production run of just 4,000 trucks, including 3 new and exclusive shades, which are Delmonico Red, Night Edge Blue, and Harvest Sunrise. And then came that fateful day. For the TRX, it was just a matter of when it would be cancelled, because Dodge CEO Tim Kuniskis had already announced the end of the Dodge Charger and Challenger Hellcats. He had done an interview at the end of the 2021 Los Angeles Auto Show with Motor Authority, saying, quote, "I will have this car, this platform, this powertrain as we know it, through the end of 23. There's 2 more years to buy a Hellcat, then it's history," end quote. The TRX was going to live longer than the Hellcat muscle cars, but it turned out to be just 1 extra model year, as Ram announced the 2024 Final Edition at the end of August 2023, and after that it's gone. In place of the TRX, Ram will be selling a 2025 RHO, which uses the high-output version of the 3-liter Hurricane twin-turbocharged inline 6-cylinder. This engine makes a decent 540 horsepower and 521 pound-feet of torque, with 28 pounds of boost, but that's still a whopping 162 horsepower short of the TRX, and of course less than the upcoming Ford Raptor R, which has a 700 horsepower V8 engine. So hopefully there will be a suitable Ram competitor for the Raptor R in the future. And that brings us to the next part of the video, looking at the reasoning for the cancellation and the flaws of the TRX. The major reason for the cancellation of all the Hellcats, including the muscle cars and the TRX, is simply the compliance costs and environmental regulations. Dodge CEO Tim Kuniskis has referred to these regulations, such as the Corporate Average Fuel Economy, or CAFE in the US, where vehicles across a specific brand's lineup must reach a certain threshold each year with respect to miles per gallon. You can make any engine you want, but the less MPGs they get, the more fines that a company will accumulate. There are different numbers for cars and trucks, but they go up each year, making it harder and harder to be compliant. The American Council for Energy Efficient Economy also ranked the Ram 1500 TRX as the worst performing mass market vehicle for 2021, 2022, and 2023 on a score that was based on an environmental damage index that reflects the cost to human health from pollution associated with vehicle tailpipe emissions, vehicle manufacturing and disposal, and the production and distribution of auto fuel and electricity. Kuniskis did echo this a little bit by talking about the Hellcats, saying, quote, "You can still meet emissions with these cars. You're going to pay a lot of compliance fines," end quote. So this seemed like it was the line in the sand for Dodge and Ram, unable and unwilling to continue producing these vehicles, despite everything the Hellcat engine has represented. So bottom line, the truck will be discontinued after the 2024 model year, because it cannot be modified to meet tougher automotive emission standards. Now as for the flaws, there aren't too many horrible problems to plague these trucks, and if there is anything long term, we won't really know about it, because it's only a couple of years into the model. However, after spending some time on TRX forums, it appears that there were so many quality control and mechanical issues that were initially plaguing all the new trucks. Everyone was happy with how much of a beast it was, and all the power and all of that, but many were disappointed that their $100,000+ truck had a ton of glitches and problems upon delivery. So much so that in early 2021, there was a PDF made by TRX owners for TRX owners with a checklist of all the problems that people were having with their first-year models, and there are pictures of what they were talking about. Aside from your one-off major problems, these were all build issues. Oil leaks, missing bolts, wiring off, materials not affixed properly, bolts, clamps, and hoses loose, and some ridiculous things like wiper fluid hoses disconnected and leather textures not matching. I'm not sure why so many trucks had these quality control issues, but Ram really dropped the ball, and these early owners had to thoroughly check their trucks for minor issues that could have turned into something bigger in the future. Another major issue was with the 12-inch Uconnect system. An alarming number of users had problems with the touchscreen, with it glitching, freezing, dropping Bluetooth connections, or pressing things on its own, and dealers were unable to fix the problem even by replacing the display under warranty. It was only fixed after an over-the-air update was released to help the issue. The final issue worth discussing is the front CV axle, joints, and boots, which seem to be a weak point for those that are trying to use the truck as it was meant to be, going off-road or even over uneven ground, as owners are reporting a lot of early clunking, knocking, vibration, and premature wear on those parts. This is an issue on stock trucks, not just the leveled ones, so much so that companies began making upgraded axles due to the known and frequent problem. So that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed it. What do you think about the TRX? Was there anything that I missed? Let me know down in the comment section below. Make sure to like and subscribe for all your Mopar content, and I'll see you in the next video.